It's the kiss of death from Mr. Goldfinger. Pretty girl, beware of this heart of gold. This heart is cold. Golden words he will pour in your ear, but his lies can't disguise what you fear. For a golden girl knows when he's kissed her, it's the kiss of death from Mr. Goldfinger. Pretty girl, beware of this heart of gold. This heart is cold. He loves only gold. Only gold. He loves gold. He loves only
Ladies and gentlemen, what an introduction. That is quite something. Aston Martin up next for the London Classic Car Talks. I see that you're all here and you all seem to love the car or the music. This is, well, the DB5, the Goldfinger DB5 continuation. This is arguably, not even arguably, the most famous car in the world, would you say? The one that everyone saw on screen, the Corgi toy, the most sold Corgi toy in the world, the Bond DB5 with all of its gadgets. I'd say it's the most famous car in the world because Aston Martin, as you probably know, have decided to make this car, 25 of these DB5s with all the gadgets, or so I'm told. So I think that's a pretty good indication that this is one of the most famous cars in the world. And Car Talks is all about talking about cars. So Paul Spires from Aston Martin, president of Aston Martin Works, is going to come and join me, and we'll have a chat about your latest toy. You're going to tell us all about it. Come around to the front. We have to be very dynamic on the stage. It keeps going round and round. It's a gadget of the stage, a bit like your car that has gadgets. So tell us, Aston Martin DB5, am I overstating saying this is the most famous car in the world? The Bond car is the most famous car in the world?
No, absolutely. Without doubt, it's an absolute icon, and it's one that set Aston Martin on its path of success, really. Obviously 007 is a massive part of the whole Aston Martin brand, and what little boy or girl doesn't want to be in a Bond film.
I mean, James Bond, 007, Goldfinger, it's everyone remembers this car. So at Aston Martin, you decided that it was appropriate, or there was the demand, your clients were asking for the opportunity to buy a Bond car from Aston Martin. You'll have to, I should have done my research before, but there is one Bond car, two Bond cars that were used in the film.
Yeah, correct. There were two cars actually used in the film itself, one of which disappeared.
One of which no longer exists. The story behind that we will never know, but it was owned, well, there's plenty of theories, but it was in a collection in America and was famously stolen, and has actually never, ever been seen since. There's speculation whether it might be in a container in the bottom of the sea, maybe it's in somebody's garage, but one of the Bond cars, I don't know if you knew or not, no longer exists, and one still does exist, and is in a collection in America, and that is the sole and original Bond car used in the film. I have to admit, I had the pleasure of auctioning that car in London many years ago, and it was quite the moment. I remember we took this car all over the world. We took it to Hong Kong on show, we took it to America, and then back down to back here to London, and it was for sure, the one car that attracted more attention than anything else that we had ever auctioned at the time. So there's one car, so not everyone can have one car, and you had the idea, you thought you wanted to have this project to make it again.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we haven't sold a new DB5 since 1965.
So this is a special moment then.
It's a really special moment for us. And fortunately at Aston Martin Works, we still had all the artisan skills to be able to build these cars again. We just deployed them to restore cars. So instead of restoring a car, we actually put them to work building brand new cars.
So where is this car, it's called the Goldfinger DB5? Is that the real, where is the Goldfinger DB5 going to be built? Where is it going to actually be born?
It's born in exactly the same factory as they were in 1964 and 65. So we build every single car at Newport Pagnell. In the traditional way, there is no difference between the materials we use on this car that we used in the 1960s. So it's a mild steel chassis, it's an aluminium body, uses Connolly hide. You know, we even have the original style cross-ply tyres that are supplied to us from Avon. So it is as close as you can get to a 1960s car.
And built exactly in the same place that the cars were built in
Totally authentic.
Amazing. So 25 cars, and we'll elaborate on the gadgets, but obviously this big selling point that we all love and remember, the gadgets. The cars do have the gadgets?
Absolutely.
That's
apart from the ejector seat, we just couldn't quite get it to package through the hole in the roof.
You can imagine when you take your partner out for dinner and something goes wrong, and then you deploy the ejector seat. It could end up quite badly. So you're not going to have the ejector seat, but everything else is going to be on the car.
Yep.
Exactly as it was fitted in the film at the time.
Yeah, and interestingly, we're actually working with Chris Colbold, CBE, who's doing the special effects on the current Bond film, and he's done actually the last 17 films, to make sure we have a proper, authentic look and feel to all the gadgets on the car. The difference with this car to the film cars is that with this car, we have to ensure that actually customers can use it. So when you press the button to make the smoke happen, you want the smoke to happen relatively instantaneously. Whereas in a film, they can use it, they can reset it for 30 minutes and start all over again.
Of course. So actually, arguably, it's a bit better.
I couldn't possibly say that.
James Bond would be really, really happy to have this car, because the smoke would deploy quicker and he could get away from the villains.
Exactly.
Excellent.
And the other thing that's quite interesting, so on all of the trick parts on the car, we actually run them through a 6,000 cycle to make sure that actually they're robust enough that in 20, 30 years' time, everything will still work exactly the same.
Amazing. That's true quality. So you've got the idea that they're all built at Newport Pagnell, but what do you start with? Do you go out and find some DB5s? Do you go in, or do you start from scratch? What is the process that Aston Martin goes through to build a car or a Goldfinger DB5?
It's a scratch build.
It's a scratch build?
Completely. Everything on the car is brand spanking new. From the engine, the gearbox, the chassis, the bodywork, everything's brand new. What we do is we deploy an awful lot of very high capacity scanning techniques. So we scan a number of bodies and chassis, etc. But we also then overlay that with about 1,000 original technical drawings we have from the day. And then we look at any anomalies, and the team sit down, and basically the whole car is drawn in CAD as with a modern DB11 or a DBS. So we employ modern techniques to reproduce actually a car to a higher quality than they even were in the 1960s.
Amazing. And all built from scratch.
Yeah.
I find it amazing that you decided to start this project, and not only are they built from scratch as you probably would have done, they're also built in the same place using the same sort of artisans, but probably just with a bit better finish because of modern day technology and modern day paints.
One of the things we wanted to do was to basically take the modern quality ethos from a modern Aston Martin and overlay it onto a heritage car, which sounds really easy, but actually is incredibly difficult to do. To make the panel gap slightly smaller, to make sure that the car is symmetrical, and all those kind of things. Even things like the glass. We actually had glass remanufactured because the original glass wasn't symmetrical.
Really? There you go. When you start rebuilding your car, you learn all sorts of things.
You do.
Now, Aston Martin's done or has made other continuation cars, and you've had other projects starting with the DB4 GT. Zagato, was that the first?
No,
you did the DB4
standard
GT. Right.
Yep.
And how many GTs did you make?
25.
25 GTs,
Yep.
again made using the same technique, the same philosophy in reproducing things exactly as it was.
Yep.
And then you did the DB4 GT Zagato.
Yep.
Excellent. And now you have this project. And now is this one of the cars or?
No, this is our engineering mule. So this is an original DB5 that we've actually fitted some of the prototype componentry to prove out that actually it works. We need to make sure that actually things like the machine guns at the front deploy at 50 miles an hour and don't kind of get blown
Very
back.
important. 50 miles an hour, is that the speed at which they must deploy? Very important, that's true.
So yeah, this is an original car that we took from our stock and we've converted it into being a mule car. This car literally 2 days ago was driving around Silverstone with the test team doing tyre and suspension development. So it's a really hard worked car, this one.
Really? Well, it certainly doesn't look like a hard work car. And I'd be very curious, and I don't know if you can answer this question or if you can say, where do you think the interest that you have in a future owner of a car like this? Is it can you give us an idea? Is it geographically speaking? Is it from Europe, from America? Is it from Asia? Is it from the Middle East? Is it from all over the world?
It's totally global. I mean, the whole Bond phenomenon is a global thing. I mean, it's grown massively. You go to places like China, and they only know Aston Martin because of James Bond.
Right,
so,
of course.
When we did things like DB4 GT, that car really captured imagination in the USA, and we sold lots and lots of those into the USA. But this car is going to literally all markets, Japan, China, Australia, America, Germany, Belgium, you name the country, there's probably one of these going to it.
I have to say, like the thought of being able to have a Bond car. I mean, who doesn't want a Bond car parked in their garage, and to know that it's been made by Aston Martin and it's got all the gadgets. I can't think of anything better. And probably one of the reasons why it's so famous is the gadgets. We agree?
Absolutely.
It's got to be the gadgets. So I have to ask. I know this is a development car, or it's not the final one, but I'm hoping that you have a box in your hands, which is a good sign. I'm hoping, do the gadgets work on this car? Is it possible to have a revolving number plate revolve for us? Because that's a great gadget that everyone should have on their cars. I mean, is it revolve on the back? Is it revolving? How about that? Now that's pretty cool. What number would you like, sir? Switzerland? England? Was I speeding? No, never. All right, then. Now that we're on the gadgets, I can't resist. What do we have? What can you show us? Would you show us one more gadget? How about machine guns?
Machine guns.
Does anyone care to see some machine guns come out? Yeah. For the people in the front row, may I suggest you all duck when the machine guns come out? Because I'm not taking any responsibility if they fire.
So
you stand in front of them. I'll stand behind.
The machine guns are inert at the moment. We thought we wouldn't put any live rounds in them. So
we're okay. There's no bullets in the machine guns.
No bullets in machine guns today. So we basically deployed them.
Hey, that's pretty cool. Can you imagine when you turn up somewhere and someone doesn't get out of the way and you deploy the machine guns?
I can't make them fire, but the interesting thing with the machine guns is these are actually designed by Chris Corbold, and they're exact replicas of the ones used in Skyfall. So they're quite a work of art in themselves. And having them operate and deploy and then redeploy was for the engineering team one of the most difficult things, to package them inside the wheel well as well.
Do you know what? Now I sort of, it made me chuckle earlier on when you said, well, we have to do testing, make sure the machine guns come out at 50 miles an hour. But actually, I can imagine it's quite difficult. You've got the indicators got to move, then they've got to go back 50 miles an hour. I mean, revolving number plates are probably easier than deploying machine guns, right?
Certainly is. But the action's quite lovely as well.
Look at that. That's quite cool, isn't it? That's quite cool. I think I can see that everyone's very interested. I've got phones up, cameras up. Everyone's very excited.
You can't help but keep playing with it.
I mean, if I sit in the passenger seat, can you eject me?
No, unfortunately not. That's just one of the things I'm not allowed to do.
So you'd like to maybe. So tell me, the remote control. Where did James Bond have a remote control for his car? Or what's the idea behind?
Not on this. So we developed this remote control because we thought, well, it'd be a lot of fun for owners when they've got it sat in their garage after having a lovely dinner party, take all their friends out into the garage and actually kind of stand round the DB5 and say, look, I can deploy the guns and I can make smoke and I can make water come out the back and all that kind of good stuff.
Ah, right. So the remote control was an idea, just as a. Oh, are they in? Are they out?
They're in.
Don't worry, you're all safe. You're all safe again. And inside of the car, it's such a shame there isn't the seat. Tell us, what other gadgets are we allowed to see on the Bond DB5? I mean, I'm quite impressed with the amount of detail you've gone to. It is an exact copy.
It is.
Of what James Bond used.
This is kind of one of my favourite ones.
Wow, there we go. It's like a nightclub in here now.
I won't leave it going for too long or else you won't be able to see us.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, this is when the Bond car actually disappears. I tell you what, that is a good smoke trick for the Bond car. That is very good. It's just you and me now. Everyone's left.
Sorry over there. I do apologise.
When the new owners of these cars receive their Bond car and they deploy the smoke in the garage, you must make sure that you supply them with good fans.
Yeah,
to,
I think you're right.
to get out. So back to the project. So an absolute copy. And have you involved the producers of James Bond? Are they involved in this project? Are they? I mean, they're the ones that made the film initially, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We couldn't do this car without Eon's permission.
Okay.
But also, they've taken a really active hand in this car, which is why I say Chris Colbold, their chief special effects man, is involved with this car and has been from the very start of the project before we even started cutting the car about. They're very proud of what we're doing. They're very keen for us to do it in a very authentic way. Everything we do on the car has to be sanctioned by them as well.
Really?
So this isn't just Aston Martin going off and building, Goldfinger cars on our own. Aston Martin and Eon Productions, this is a joint venture, if you like.
Got it. Now that I see all the tricks and all the gadgets come out, I have to say it's a very, very tempting propositions, and it sounds like you've had some great success with your continuation cars. I've got to ask, and again, I don't know if you can answer or not, but how long will this project take, or when will the last car, potentially be completed and be built?
So the last of the Goldfinger cars be completed in 12 months' time.
Oh wow! You guys are not messing around. You're very efficient.
We are, yes. Yeah. It's a big team, though.
Right.
64 people on this program alone.
64 people on this program. That's amazing. And so once you've finished your 25 Goldfinger cars, is there another project in the works?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The whole cycle plan of continuation cars just kind of continues along. So having developed the technology behind this car and the previous continuation cars, we're continuously developing and improving how we deliver these.
Right. So you'll be thinking now to the future and thinking of other continuation cars that you can make.
Absolutely.
And is there any chance that we could have any kind of glimpse into what the next continuation car could be?
None at all.
Not even if we deploy the smoke?
Not if you deploy the smoke. if I told you, I have to kill you. In true Bond style.
In true Bond style. So for Aston, there is the plan to keep on going with these cars, and these, I assume these are for your clients and collectors all over the world, and I will probably see them in shows, and we'll have the pleasure of seeing these cars out at many events. I think it's a fabulous project. Now that I see it in the flesh and I see the gadget, it just makes it so much more real. It is the Bond car. This is the one that he drove. I feel like he'd be happy to drive it as well.
I'm sure he would.
I mean, it's the accuracy that you've gone to with the build of the car, and of course, fresh engine, like everything. We could actually take this car and go down to the Dorchester and have a like it's fully running, fully driving.
Yeah, this car works absolutely as an original car because it is an original car. But when you have the Bond car, the Goldfinger cars, it will operate in the exact same way. You will not be able to drive a 1964 car and a 2020 car and tell the difference.
That's unbelievable. That is really quite something. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope we gave you a little introduction and overview of what we think is the most famous car in the world, the Goldfinger Aston Martin DB5, included with all the gadgets. I don't think it's very often that you get a demonstration of all the gadgets. You might have to like show us a revolving number plate or something just one more time, because it's so cool. Now that it's facing everyone, maybe we can revolve number plates. And also, there we go, we've got guns going out. I'm really putting you to the test. Let's go to Switzerland. Can we do that? Hey. There we go. I think it's quite good with its Swiss numbers. I've never seen so many cameras come up looking at the Bond car and the gadgets. I think we're going to leave you up here. It seems like everyone is absolutely loving it, and not to mention the smoke. I think it's great. So tell me, I have to ask, because I'm so fascinated by the gadgets. So do you remember off the top of your head which are the gadgets that you're going to have? Everything apart from the seat?
Yes, there's the battery rams on the bumpers. They'll deploy electrically as well. There's a new center console with a navigation system, which is actually black and white.
Navigation from 1965?
Exactly.
Really?
Yep.
How amazing is that?
Navigation.
No way.
There'll be a phone in the door pocket as well, as the car had in the film. So there's so much.
You know, it'd be really cool if you made the phone work.
It does work.
It does work?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. It's linked in on Bluetooth.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I'm very serious about my work.
Obviously you are. So you've got the phone inside, you've got black and white navigation, you've got the bumper overrides, you've got machine guns, you've got smoke, oil patches.
Yeah. Unfortunately, if I deploy that, people are going to get wet. It actually deploys water. I did think twice about it, but
do we have some umbrellas?
I don't think we should do.
Right. So we've got oil patches coming out the back. We do have smoke. I mean, basically we have absolutely everything. You look at you. You're tempted, aren't you?
I'm not going to.
You might lose some orders if you do it. But I think we'll all agree. I hope this is giving you a little bit of an overview of the level of detail that's gone into this project. It's not just a Bond car. This is like to another level.
This is to a completely different level than it's never been done before.
Never been done before, and not to talk about money or pricing, but it's also eye-wateringly valuable, not expensive, valuable.
I think it's exceptionally good value at £2.75 million plus taxes.
That's not bad, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it is the Bond car. You can't go buy one anywhere else.
You can't,
right? There's going to be 25, and once they're sold, they are all gone. And you know what? The gadgets. To see the gadgets working here, I think you'll all agree, is pretty cool, isn't it? That's actually not working yet.